as we've been reporting, President Obama today named General Electric CEO Jeff Immelt as the new head of his outside council of economic advisors.
I am so proud and pleased that Jeff has agreed to chair this panel, my council on jobs and competitiveness, because we think GE has something to teach businesses all across America.
Well, that certainly capped a pretty big day for GE, reporting better than expected earnings as its chief executive, as you are hearing, takes a job with the nation's chief executive. But how are investors taking the news? We know the stock is doing very well today. Joining us right now to talk about it all is Peter Klein. He's senior portfolio manager at Fifth Third Bank. He helps manage $18 billion in assets, and General Electric is the largest holding in more than one of their funds. Peter, great to have you here with us.
Pleasure to be here.
A lot of news on General Electric today. Jeff Immelt being head of the economic advisors for President Obama, and then you had General Electric earnings, which investors seem to like. What's the more important news here in your view?
Well, I think if you look at GE's earnings, the result expectations were very low, and with the rebound in orders and backlog, and with the losses reduced on the financial side, I think folks sort of stood up and listened and took a look and said, geez, we really missed what was going on here underneath all of the changes. So I think they were very positively disposed, and the stock has reacted.
The things that General Electric is doing well with right now are the benefits that they would get from increased government spending and stimulus, or increased government spending due to regulation. And I wonder if it's going to help out at all that Jeff Immelt is even closer or an even stronger advisor to the president. Is he going to be able to help the government shop more at GE, so to speak?
Well, I think we saw just with what took place with India over the past couple of months, where the government and GE sort of partnered to get something done. I think we'll see more of that, but I do believe that GE, and especially Jeff, is going to have the ear of the president in terms of policies, which I think will be more beneficial to all businesses in the United States, including General Electric. But the desire to have more exports is important. The desire to have growth is very important, and the desire to sort of sell into the emerging markets is very important. And I think that will be high on the agenda of the administration now.
It's interesting, you know, we're doing a story here. General Electric paid about $40 million for lobbying last year, more than any U.S. company, which may make sense because they're bigger than most U.S. companies. But you'd think that Jeff is now in a position where lobbying could be cheaper. He can do some of it, more of it himself. You know, I mean, that's an incredible lobbying position, being head of the president's outside economic advisors.
I mean, Peter, can we infer that GE is going to be in a better position because of this relationship?
I think they're in a very favorable position as we speak, but I think this only underscores Jeff's influence to have been chosen as the top advisor. I think he's working very closely with this administration that wants to have a positive and productive business relationship, something that they didn't have over the past couple of years.
Do we have to worry? I think Jeff Immelt has already come out and said, don't worry, I'm not going to be distracted. I can handle both of them. I mean, he's been a member of this board, we should point out, for a while. Now he's head of this outside panel of economic advisors. He's replacing Paul Volcker. But will he be distracted?
I think that's a very important question, and certainly has a deep bench with his executives that are reporting to him. And we have to keep in mind that the plans that GE are now unfolding in terms of their earnings and their announcements have been in the works for a couple of years. So they have sort of a life of their own. They're being managed to those plans. So I don't think his work with the government is going to detract from that.
Peter, let me ask you about Adam Johnson earlier broke down the revenue growth that happened at GE in each of their major business groups. The best performing group was NBC Universal. As we know, that took a big step forward in being sold off from GE, or a big percentage of it sold off this week. Are they making a mistake, in your view, of getting rid of that group?
GE has to focus, and part of the complaint has been that they've been unfocused. So I think that continuing is important to refocus their energies in the industrial sides. They need to make things. They need to service those things. And once they get that, which seems to be on the right path, aligned with a smaller footprint for their capital services division, I think you'll have a great company.
All right. Hey, Pete, thanks so much for joining us. Peter Klein.